and explode to death. Or a rock would fall on his head or something like that. Who would dare to violate Shabbat? Even the Goyim will keep Shabbat after they saw such incidents. You think anybody will dare to risk his life? Now when he starts his car on Shabbat and drives around and enjoy, and he doesn't see any punishments is coming, this is the test. If he would get immediately punished, nobody would dare to violate any rules. It will not be any test. And God says, I'm testing you to see what's in your heart. Are you faithful to me or not? And if I get punished right away, I would dare to do any violations? People would freeze on Shabbat, would not move. Isaac, where are you? Don't talk, it's Shabbat, I cannot move. Why? I just saw what happened to the other two. Or if a person will do a mitzvah, a good deed, and get rewarded right away, then he will repeat it for the second time, get rewarded right away. Third time, he get rewarded right away. What would he do? You think he would go to work? All day he would stand by the tzedakah box, give charity one after the other. Why? It's an immediate profit. There's no test. It will eliminate the free choice completely. The idea is to have a free choice to do whatever you want and trust that God is not a liar. The Torah is divine in case you have any slice of a doubt that the Torah is the word of God, not the rabbis, God himself directly. And he gave it to us in front of millions of witnesses, as I said before. Please watch my film, Torah and Science. It's a 3-hour film. It's divided to 3 sessions of 1 hour approximately each. It's in my website, divineinformation.com. Please watch it. It will prove to you without any doubt that the written and the oral Torah is completely divine. Completely. And every word over there is the word of God. Now the question is, do you want to dedicate some of your time every day to do the right thing, or you want to destroy your soul forever? That's your choice. Nobody can do the job for you. If you're not going to do it, definitely somebody else cannot do it for you. I'll tell you another story. There was, when the Jews came to America, it was very difficult to work here. Why? Because Shabbat was a regular weekday. It wasn't a weekend like today in America. You have 2 days off. So people worked 6 days, and Sunday was the day off. So every week the Jews will work until Thursday, and they say tomorrow until Friday, and tomorrow we cannot come. Why? It's the Sabbath. We cannot work on Shabbat. Their boss used to get upset and fire them. There were Jews who had to replace the job every week. And it's not so simple to find a job every week. One of them was almost in a point that they starved. They couldn't find a job for a few weeks. He didn't have what to eat, the children. And the landlord was a cruel man. He threw them out of the house in the middle of the night, the evening, to the streets. It was snowing, freezing weather in New York. This is in New York. And the doorman of the building across the street, he saw that a Jew with his kids standing on the street with their bags and stuff, and they don't have where to go. So he told them, I'm very sorry that I cannot offer you a good place to be, but you can be in the basement of my building here. They have charcoals over there, they used to burn trees, pieces of wood, and make heat for the entire building. That's how it used to be, talking 60, 70 years ago. So he put them in the basement of the building, and when they burn woods, it's all black over there, and the kids started to get very dirty. The kids are playing outside, and one very wealthy Jew is passing by. And he saw black kids speaking Yiddish. This is something he never saw before. So he started to speak to the kids in Yiddish, and they said, no, we're only staying here in the basement, and we got black because we don't have showers there. So he went inside. He felt very bad that Jews are living in such situation. He came, introduced himself to the father, and he took out a check, and he wrote him a check, $500. 60, 70 years ago, it's like $50,000 today. That's approximately how it was. For $500, you can almost buy an apartment somewhere. That's how much it was. A big amount. It was a very wealthy Jew. The Rabbi asked him, excuse me that I'm asking you, do you keep the Sabbath? You observe the Sabbath? Or you violate Shabbat? The guy started to get nervous. He said, well, the truth is I used to, but not anymore. When I came to America, it wasn't possible for me to do it. So my businesses, I have to work. So the poor Jew, the rabbi, gave him back the check and said, I'm very sorry. I mean, the only reason I'm here right now is because I didn't want to work on Shabbat. I cannot accept money of a Jew that goes against God. Please, thank you very much. The wealthy Jew got offended and he's going back home. He tells the story to his wife, and his wife goes crazy. She starts to scream, to cry. He's right. When we came to America, you promised me only 3-4 Shabbatot you're not going to keep, and then we go back to keep Shabbat. But apparently it's been years already. If you're not coming to keep right now Shabbat with me, please give me a get. I want to get divorced. That's the story. Obviously he doesn't want to lose his wife. Plus, the poor Jew made a good impression on him for how much he's willing to sacrifice for the truth. He decided to keep Shabbat. He went back to that Jew and gave him back the check. He got him out of that basement with his family and put him in a normal place. And guess what? Each one of them had eventually a son that became the biggest rabbi in America. Obviously, we cannot tell the names because we don't want to speak Lashon Hara about the family that didn't keep Shabbat. But this is a pretty famous story. That eventually when God saw, so really the merit goes to the poor Jew. Not only he was willing to give his life for the Shabbat, thanks to his sacrifice, he saved another family, and a big rabbi came out from this excellent devotions that he gave for the Shabbat. So just before we finished, a few last things to understand is that you have to understand one thing. I know some of us, they live very far away from the shul. And they say, you know, I want to show my children some Jewish education, some Jewish tradition. I live so far away from the shul. What do you think? That God is going to punish me by coming to shul with a car on Shabbat? My answer to those people is, first of all, you can move from your location near a kosher synagogue. And until you're going to do it, stay at home and pray at home. You're not ever allowed to start the car on Shabbat. It's better that a person will not pray once in his life than one time to start his car. Because this is the worst violation in the entire Torah. As I showed you before, it's even worse than a murder, and people don't realize it, and they don't accept it, because it's not logical to them. But we don't go by human logic, what we got used to. We go by what the Torah says. The punishment of Mechalel Shabbat is worse than the punishment of the murderer. A Jew that keeps Shabbat and murder people can be a part of the minyan, a part of the 10. But a very nice Jew that doesn't keep Shabbat, he doesn't dare to murder anyone, or to steal, or to do other things. But he doesn't keep Shabbat. He cannot be counted as one of the 10. Now I know you're asking, so how come some people calling non-religious Jews to be a part of the minyan because they only have 9 and they need the 10th one? The answer is, some of them don't know the laws. They never read Shulchan Aruch, believe it or not. And some of them knows the law, but they count on the fact that those Jews grew up like goyim. It's like a Jewish baby that was kidnapped by the Gentiles, and he grew up like a goy, and it's not really his fault that he doesn't keep Shabbat, because he doesn't really know what it is. Somebody like this is obviously forced to violate Shabbat. And obviously his punishment is completely different than people who knows what Shabbat is and they're not keeping it. Nobody can claim today that he never heard of Shabbat. Even Jews in Russia today hear about Shabbat. It's on the internet, it's on the television, it's in the media. Israel is on the news everywhere. The people in Israel see religious people, thousands are walking on Shabbat. They say Shabbat Shalom one to another. There are so many DVDs and lectures everywhere, in every street of Israel every week. In New York the same. I just been in Miami last week. Even in Miami there's already many synagogues. In Las Vegas there's synagogues. I've been almost in every state in America. Almost everywhere you have a Jewish community. People just don't want to come and find out. They don't want to come to learn. They block their eyes and their ears. Somebody like this, everything he does will count as purposely. It's not accidentally, because we always had the books right across the street to come and learn.